I consulted with the president at that time, and he said, look, we need an agreement between these two groups. So we agreed with Honorable Bahati, the minister in charge, to bring the two of you together, because as a parliament, we want to make a law that fits in society. We don't want society to fit in a law. We don't want, in short, we don't impose a law on you, especially a law of this nature that has a very huge impact on the development both of manufacturers who have invested heavily, but also outgrowers who manufacturers can only depend on. So we felt, and I was very, very happy that was the line of Honorable Bahati also. We never wanted to say we forced through any law. The law, the stage at which it is, the moment we agree here, next week I'll give it to you. The moment we come out of here agreed, next week I'll give you your law so that it can go be operationalized and you address the challenges you have been facing. So Honorable Bahati gave me a brief that indeed you had reached consensus. Let him brief us on that consensus you've reached, and where you have not yet reached consensus, we'll try to talk from here and come to an agreement so that we can sort this issue, okay? So let me request Honorable Bahati to brief us on the progress of the talks and the outcome. Honorable.
Right Honorable Deputy Speaker, the purpose of this amendment was to form a council as opposed to a board that is mainly done by government. We thought that the stakeholders should come together and form a sugar council and then move the sector. And in the process, as you have said, we had suggested there are just two issues which we are really looking at. One was the composition of the council, where we agreed that we should have millers and farmers, government, and government. The second was to what would be the source of funding for that council that will be formed. And there was, government had suggested that millers not put a burden on farmers. Millers should be able to cater for the cost of this council. And in the process, farmers were not comfortable. They said the millers, if they have the council, the funding of the council, maybe that can influence the decisions of the council. And the millers said, no, we also want to contribute toward the running of this council. So in the several consultations that we have made, we are agreed, we are coming to a consensus that on the funding of the council, millers should contribute, which we call the sugar levy. Millers should contribute 70%, and then farmers 30%. But if farmers wanted to contribute half, that would be fine. But we thought that, and the consensus is that they should at least contribute something, but not so to put a burden, a lot of burden on the farmers. After all, financially, the millers seem to be very strong, so they can give more. But the composition should be the way we have done it. The farmers are represented, the millers are represented. It's only the operation, the funding of the operations that we talked about. So the second issue was the formula. The formula had some errors, but also the ingredients in the formula were a contentious issue. So I want to ask, with your permission, to ask Dennis, the Commissioner for Industry, to talk about this issue of the formula. What is in the formula? Maybe also members of Parliament and others can understand it. Secondly, what is the consensus that we are building? Mr. Speaker, those are the two issues that you deferred the law to go back and then we consult on them. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. Before we go with the board, the mirrors were saying we support government position on council, and government was very clear on the issue of the council. And then, the government was arguing on the issue of financing of the board, saying no, it has a financial implication. We want to go into those issues, especially with RAPEX and what we are going through. And so I want to know from the farmers, and we don't need to waste a lot of time, okay? You should be very clear. Yes. Now you have agreed on having a council plus the financing model which Honorable Bahati has talked about. If I don't know, did you agree on who can speak for you?
I also to agree with the minister, but the minister has left out some few issues.
No, let's start with this issue.
The formula?
We will go, we will go issue by issue.
Okay.
I want us to know that indeed you agreed, okay?
Yes.
The minister did a council with a financing model of mirrors 70%, farmers 30%, but if you farmers want to increase on the financing...
Yeah, on the issue of council, we agreed that we should have the council, but the representatives of the farmers should be more, and
no,
we suggest...
Wait. We are not yet there. Please, just go with what I'm asking, okay?
Okay.
We agreed to have a council?
Yes.
Then financing model?
And then the financing of the council, we agreed that the mirrors contribute 70%, then 30% be divided between the farmers and the government, because government has representatives there. So,
no,
we agree.
I can tell you on that, right away, it will be no, because now it has a financial implication. You see, government has processes. Government, you just don't...
representatives will be... Okay, it's okay.
The government representative is only to protect you. Being on the council is not to make money. Okay? The mirrors, we are saying, they are ready to finance 100%. Okay?
Yes.
You refused. You said, no, you can't finance Mutijoga. We also have money, we want to contribute.
But we are deciding
now, the mirrors are saying, okay, we can cover 70%, but if you want even them to cover 100%, they are ready. They are willing. So why can't put an obligation on government when it has someone who is willing to pay?
Because that was our position initially, but since you have said that the government is not ready, and the government representatives on the council, I don't know how...
The council is for the benefit of mirrors and farmers.
Yes.
Okay?
That is clear. We know. Yes.
So, will mirrors cover 30%, or you can tell us what, farmers, you can tell us the percentage you don't want to cover. We talk to the mirrors to cover it also.
Then if that is the case, since we had agreed that we contribute 15 and now that government is not ready, then the mirrors can contribute 85%, then we shall put on the 15%. No problem. We have no problem with that.
Mirrors, do you have a problem? Because you are ready to cover 100%. You have no problem.
Yes.
Yeah, but you see what they was thinking was government will go and cover 15 of that 30.
Yes.
Okay? So now government, you would be taking us way back, finance, modeling, cabinet. So mirrors are ready to cover 85%, yes, and farmers 15%.
Yes, it is okay.
That's acceptable, farmers?
It is okay.
Very good. That's done. Okay? Now that is, I wanted us first finish council before going to the formula. Composition of the council. Honourable Minister, do you have any update on that?
Okay, the representative of farmers, Right Honourable, if he's having another position different from that they agreed, it should be put on record. Because after this meeting, when they go out, they say we are coerced. This is not our position. Because at first, millers are just accepted to contribute 100%. They said no. We must also have a share. They agreed 30%. Minutes away, they are saying, okay, 15%. So it should be put on a record, Right Honourable.
Yeah, but I think the law on financing, I think we shall need to show that it will be financed by mirrors, okay, and farmers, okay,
Yes.
on a sharing model that will be agreed upon between the mirrors and farmers. Avoid the situation of one day coming to amend the law on who should contribute how much. Honorable Kamba, our senior legal counsel, what do you think? Is that a matter for registration?
No, but I think to that extent we cannot put who pays, who contributes what percentage in the act.
Yeah.
But that can always be put in the regulation where need be.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you so much.
So, to request you to turn to page 4 of the bill. This was the proposed composition of the on the side of government, the permanent secretary, Minister of Agriculture, the permanent secretary, Ministry of Finance, the permanent secretary, Ministry of Industry. So that's the composition. And I found it a bit.
Do you have a problem? Does any group have a problem? Yes, outgrowers?
Yeah, we that the farmers' representatives be 7, just like in other countries. We should be more than the millers because we are the majority and the most important key stakeholder. So we suggested that we should be, let us be 7, and then the rest remains.
But which country?
As long as the millers are comfortable with it. Okay.
They must be comfortable because the millers. Let's go maximum.
Commissioner, what do you say about that of other countries? How are they doing it?
Chair, for the countries who have benchmarked, like South Africa, we find that the number of on the representation of the farmers are slightly more. And actually, in the through you, I would wish to emphasize representation on a board or on a council. The numbers really don't matter. What matters is the quality of the representatives. Are they able to really articulate the issues? Are they people of high integrity? And to me, if that is appreciated, we should be able to move. And again, through you, Chair, we also envisage going forward that the cane is grown across the country. So we are going to have regions and there will be subcommittees. So members who will not be on the Sugar Council can still participate, bring their issues from the regional subcommittees. Thank you.
Now, Cabinet and Parliament settled. What was changing was from a board to council. Okay? This is the settled matter in the law. From board to council is the only thing we needed to amend. When we start tinkering with the numbers, when we had already pronounced ourselves, when you had done too much, I think let us agree, colleagues, without wasting much time. Let us agree that we maintain the structure as it was, as it is in the Act. We maintain the structure as it is in the Act. We only change the word board to council. Simple. Otherwise, now if you're opening another, by the time we reached on that, we took a lot of time, a lot of years studying. So on that clause, it was supposed to remain the way the composition is already sorted in the Act. We only needed to change the name. Mirrors, whereby you would have one member above.
The farmers.
No, the farmers had one more.
Yes.
Yeah? Then I will go back, I will send back. The bill will be withdrawn. The law. We don't need to change it. We only change the name from the board to council. Yes, Nyando. Yes, Honorable Iga.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, just like had said, some tend to say for us we didn't agree, but we were not maybe given a chance to speak in that meeting. So I would really propose, Chair, we have other representatives of other unions, just like Busebe, just like Greater Busoga. Wouldn't it be prudent if you also ask them if they are agreeing to what the proposals in this meeting? Because we may go there again and they say for us we start in the meeting, but
I've allowed anyone who is
councils and boards, whatever is discussed there, there's nothing sacred. So 4 vis-a-vis 3 is a good number. It is something that I'm actually appealing to the leaders to accept. Being more by one person does not have any...
But also the farmers who want to be more by 3.
No, I think that's what I'm saying.
Also, yeah.
That even the farmers, as long as you have sent your people on the council with very good ideas, I don't think they can be stampeded. So please, the council is there to protect both parties.
Thank you.
So principally, let's agree on that and move forward.
You know, the fee say, I'm going into administration, I cross the factory. I would see the people you are representing where they would sell the cane. If Madvan says he doesn't want, you can also take your cane to other factories. I will see where Madvan will get the cane from. You get it? So it's, there is what we call in negotiation, there is what we call being joined at the hip. You're joined from the hip. You can't do without the other. So let's be positive when we are looking at it. Chairman Miraz, then Honorable Kiwaji.
Yes, Parliament, and we had all agreed on a 4-4 composition. So me here and my colleagues representing our sectors find it difficult to agree to a new position.
Let me first allow Honorable Kiwaji, then Honorable.
Beginning from where the chairman is beginning from, he said they consulted the millers, but this is the law. The amendments that we are making, which people are not agreeing with, but when we reached to the 4-3, there was no controversy at all. We agreed in unison that there is no problem. I think, as the speaker said, the issue was the name of council board, because everybody was asking what is the meaning of the board and what is the meaning of the council. But now in a situation where now we have rationalization and the word board is not existing, that's why we had to migrate to the word council, because the board is no longer existing in most of the areas. And it was the only thing. The rest we are not having contentions in the house. But the other part that I was moving to, as the speaker was moving, I was saying that now where we have reached, we can only reach if there is anybody with an issue contrary to the position where we are. If somebody has an issue, we can maybe listen to that one, and now we begin debating from there. Otherwise, debating on what already was debated and what we agreed on may take us back, and as the speaker said, that unless we are going back to have the bill withdrawn and we start from zero.
Thank you, Honorable Kamba. Then I go to...
I think the law as was enacted, the composition is okay. Because what matters is not the number, but when we were enacting that law, it was to protect both millers and the farmers. Right Honorable, in this industry, when it comes to board or council, I remember we were looking at the weaker party, and in this case, the weaker party was the farmers, and we say they should have slightly an upper hand for the millers not to take any decision that they want their way. And to the farmers, it's not about how many members on the council, but the sharpness of the members you send to represent the farmers on the council. Even if you have 100, but when they are not well grounded, still they will not able to represent your interests. So, Right Honorable, I propose that we maintain what was passed in the main bill, in the main act Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
The amendment. But I'm seeking clarity. The judiciary, through the courts of law, they passed a judgment of a case from our parties in the industry, sugarcane industry, and they used the Sugar Act the way it was. And in the section of the judgment, they gave the ministry 3 months to implement the board. So how are we going to proceed with those two positions? Thank you.
And continue with its work. Court never said don't amend the law. Okay? Court never said don't amend the law. Number 2, government can appeal, and your appeal takes 10 years. When you have a law that is redundant, that you're not served. Okay? So we should use this period to reconcile positions of both the farmers and what, and then we be able, because now court has said implement the law, but government has no money in the budget to implement the board decision. So what do? I appeal, and I get stay of execution on the government ruling, and now we remain in the same. So let us use this opportunity where we've made very good progress, okay, to move very well, and we have this sorted. I hope, really, no, there was someone on the side of farmers who wanted to speak. Now, both of you are disagreeing, are in between, okay? But luckily enough, we have something which we studied deeply over time and was agreed upon, and it's in the law, okay? So when you don't agree, then we go and we do our job as parliamentarians, as long as we see that the position we take does not have a huge impact. This is a matter of mistrust. I'm very sure once you go on the board and you bond, and you know all you're working towards strengthening the sugar sector, I'm very sure you will not have a problem. You will not find the composition of the board having a big problem. Mr. Moses Biarhanga?
When you look at what is the council supposed to do? When you look at the functions, there are many. And in my opinion, the numbers here, we can go with what we have for. Because when you look at the work of the council, as you have guided, Mr. Chair, it's mutual understanding. And because you see, the question would be, when we farmers are more, when we are voting, we shall vote more than you, maybe. So you shall have an upper hand. But when you look at the work, it's not about even the disagreement. It's about the good of the sugar sector. The only 3 areas I would see where there will be friction between farmers and millers would be what one of them is supposed to be discussed upon on the price formula, on the pricing, which is D, on the function D, and function M, to arbitrate and mediate disputes between parties in the sugar industry, and N, to review on a regular basis the problems and prospects of the sugar industry. When you look at all these functions, they are mutual. There's no question as I have more numbers, I will vote more than you. You have to agree, because for the good of the industry, both the farmer and the miller need each other. There shouldn't be, as long as we have agreed on the pricing, which is a separate matter, which we're going to discuss here. The rest of the functions of this council, as it comprises it, are mutual. So I want to convince my colleagues that we shouldn't deliberate so much or disagree and go back that we have disagreed on the composition in terms of numbers. The numbers, even though you are one person representing, as long as somebody is mentioned, what are we talking about? What is the function of this council? If we look at the functions, we can easily relate with each other.
Thank you. There is that gentleman, yeah.
One more, it is okay. but also in future, maybe today a small farmer, tomorrow the many farmers and other mills are coming, make some clues, then we add some more people later on, maybe after 2 or 3 years.
Yes, sir.
Honorable, Right Honorable Speaker, you guided the way. The initial composition in the law was not supposed to be tampered with, and we need to appreciate and agree on that. One more, as the earlier said, then we proceed.
Thank you. Chairman Miraz, let us stand over this matter, okay, for a few minutes. If you need to make any consultations, okay, you can consult on a line that we maintain it the way it is in the law. The composition of the board becomes the composition of the council as it is in the law. You can consult your colleagues. We finish, we agree on the way forward. Yes, Honorable General.
These councils or boards, the number should always be odd. That in the case there is a contentious issue, you cannot have these votes tying. That's why you cannot say 4-4. 3-4 to make a 7 is okay. But for you to say that you have equal number, when it comes to voting over a contentious issue, I think there is paralysis there. That's how it has been. And that is the rationale of these boards and councils. The number must be odd.
The position is the farmers, the millers, and the government. So there's no tying, because if you have 4, the permanent secretaries are 3, you have one secretary of finance.
Those would be 12 if you go by what we have here. I think you would have 12.
12.
So, Chair, and that's why in the really in the board composition of the board we are looked at that. Mzee.
You right, Honorable. Yeah, we as farmers, especially we in Kayunga, why we wanted to have at least one farmer more than the millers is especially when there is this issue, because one of the functions of the council shall be to review licenses and sometimes to recommend where it is necessary to have another factory established. But when they are at par, I don't think the millers may not want another competitor to come on board when it comes to voting.
Thank you.
So that's why we want the farmers to have at least one extra member on the council.
Thank you. You see, I want to give you caution. We never registered for one group to have an advantage over the other. No. That one extra for the farmers was for affirmative action. For affirmative action. Because they are weaker as farmers. And without saying you can do wrong things, okay? Without saying, I don't want to be quoted out of context. But you guys, the mirrors, have bigger capacity. You can raise billions to lobby, to do what, to do. These farmers don't have that. So it was just a matter of not from Mzee's point. I want that clarification to be made. Mzee, that was not our point. Our point was because you're a weaker party, we give you affirmative action, okay? So that your voice, when they have an advantage over you here, you balance it by being here, and we have a balanced council. Like how you see Makerere, we give women 1.5 points extra against boys. It is just for affirmative action to bring them more or less at par with the boys. So it was not for advantage that you have an advantage. No, it was for purposes of ensuring that indeed we have affirmative action. So let's point as the consultations continue, we go to Commissioner now. On the council, those were the issues, isn't it? The name, the funding, and the composition. Aha, gwe wakayingira katutegera ntutusewa. Yes, Mukuru. Introduce yourself. Let me have the team behind.
And the composition is the chairperson position. Our proposals are that, a little contrary to what was already existing, that the chairperson position be recommended by the committee and approved by the minister, but should be from within the two parties. Either it is the miller or the grower. And the event such a person is got, then he's replaced by the interest group. Thank you.
Is it one issue agreed upon? Because now we're meeting the outcomes and what you agreed upon. Where if you never touched that issue, okay, let us not reopen it.
Honorable term, for example, it's a miller. The second term, it's a grower. So it will be interchangeably in the event. Because the issue was when, you remember when Mr. Robogo attended the meeting that we were in the Ministry of Trade, chaired by Honorable Mwebesa.
My brother, you see, when you're making a law, there are details you don't go into. Otherwise, we shall have a law which is this heavy. There are those ones we leave to be covered under regulations by the minister. Okay? So we don't go that much deeper. Parliament, we can't go into those nitty-gritties. We look at the principles and we focus on that. So we have here, I had guided, because there was a disagreement, I had guided that on that clause to do with the council, okay, we maintain it the way it is in the mother law, in the act. We only change the name council. Even financing will be covered under regulations. We can't put it in the law, the issue of financing. But now minister has taken note, those are issues he will go ahead and discuss. We can't come here and even do the work of the minister. You will continue engaging with him. This one, he can cover it under regulations.
Honorable, it's not that I'm trying to, Mr. Speaker, we are vulnerable. We are very vulnerable.
But even if you're vulnerable, when we are legislating, we have legislative guidelines. It is where we stop. Are you getting me?
Thank you, Honorable.
So that's why we have those subsidiary other laws and all that. It does no harm. It does no harm. The fear you have for now is because you people are suspecting each other. But when you start working together and you find both of you must work together to build the sector, you'll find that's not necessary. Okay? You see, a law is like, I want you to know, it's like a taxi. They usually say in a taxi, as long as the door closes, you will fit in and you reach your destination. So let's finish this. We close the door, then you will fit in, adjust yourselves. You manage yourselves. We don't want to over-interfere. Let's leave it at that. So I think with the council we are done. Okay, so let's go to the next issue.
Chair, the next issue was and on the formula, there are two things. We are going to go through the details of the formula, what it means, and what we discussed with the farmers and the millers. But also we needed some guidance from this meeting, whether we can put this formula into the regulations, since it is likely to continue changing and updated every other time, so that the council has some liberty, since they will be the ones running the sector, to continue discussing the formula from time to time. Because there are things that we can't envisage right now that might come after 1 or 2 years that may need to be incorporated in the formula. But otherwise, we can first state the position that we agreed upon with the farmers and the millers. Then after that, we also consider that issue. Dennis, can you take us through the formula and what we agreed upon?
Through my minister, the formula we had in the act was determining the price of sugar cane. And what we have agreed on, or as a best practice, the formula should be able to give a minimum price for a ton. And the key ingredients in it, one is the sugar content, which is determined by the rendement value. And from the consultations, we have agreed that that value be fixed. We should have a minimum. Why do we want to fix that? There is a practice of harvesting immature cane. And what has been agreed on is 80%. The other element in the formula is the average price of raw sugar within the market. That is what we call the PS. Then there is D, which looks at the sharing of the benefits from the other byproducts. Within the Act, it had been stated that a percentage to be negotiated by concerned parties as decided by the board, and the minimum shall be 50%. Right Honorable Speaker, through the consultation, it was agreed that this be maintained for now, but also with a possibility that as the industry progresses, as we get the market for, as we develop the utilization of other byproducts, through the council can guide the minister, and this percentage is progressively adjusted. I submit.
It is very true that we did not agree, we did not develop consensus on the formula. The minister chaired a number of meetings discussing this matter. We did not conclude on them. There was even an opportunity to appoint Honorable Daud Migereko to also further the meetings. We had 2 more meetings in which even the millers provided a position of their own to the ministry, and for us our position was different. In the last meeting, where we had a meeting with the millers, we had told them if they're not raising the percentage from 50 to 60, then we need to share proceeds from the other products from sugarcane. In this case, we have molasses, we have bagasse, which they use to generate more money at their factories. And we had proposed to them a formula, which they had told us they were going to study and give us feedback. But it's fortunate that they are here, because we were supposed to have had a meeting for them to give us feedback if they are comfortable with the formula we had proposed to them, because that formula was supposed to provide for income to the farmer from the other products they use to make other products from like power and molasses, and spirit. Thank you.
The last meeting we had with the millers left us and told us they are going to consult whether the farmers can share from the molasses and bagasse. They said they are going to consult. They must be having an answer so that we can agree here. But I want also to agree with the chairman that we did not conclude on the formula.
Okay.
We said, even Mr. Dennis has put it clear, he said that for millers to permit mature cane, let us fix, in fact, as farmers we proposed that let it be 10%, so that the millers can benefit and the farmers, so that the millers can permit mature cane. When they know that if a farmer supplies 1 ton of sugar cane, they must be able to get 100 kilos, whether they want or not.
So that would take you to 60.
Yes, only on the sugar. Only the sugar, right, Honorable? 60% is talking about sugar only.
Oh.
Yes. They must remember.
So byproducts are not
included. That is what we are saying, that they should be included. What percentage?
You are referring to Kenya, you are referring to...
Yes.
So in Kenya, what do they show?
They have fixed it at 10 recovery. If you supply 10 tons of sugar cane, you must get 1 ton of sugar.
No, what I'm meaning is total. Let us have total percentage.
Of course, they say the price of cane will equal to the price of 1 ton of sugar, excluding VAT, times 10% times 60%. That is purely on sugar. Then the other products, they fixed at 30%.
That's Kenya?
Yes.
Should I say that's why they are having problems?
No.
In the sugar industry?
In fact, even the president said They are
Because
doing well.
I, without real biasing, I would close my factory. Eh? You people manufacturing, you're talking to someone who is a manufacturer. So you're not talking to just a legislator who has voted to come here and what. I want us to be fair, okay? Because you will only benefit if the factories are working. The factories will only benefit if you are progressing with your farms. So we must come up with the middle ground. Let me listen to the chairman of Miras on what you said you had talked.
Yeah, bringing in new things, yet we had amicably agreed on most issues except the percentage in the formula. Mr. Chairman, you recall we used to pay 40%, but because there was this diversification into other products, we have agreed to increase it to 50%. You'll also realize about 70% of the mirrors have not diversified. So what you are setting can easily kill those factories from even diversifying. So we sat and agreed on 50%, and that is our position to accommodate all others. And what is important and to be noted is the 50% is the minimum you should pay. It is not the actual price. The actual price is always over and above. So this sets the minimum you can pay a farmer at any given time. Then over and above that, millers, individual millers and the associations or their farmers will negotiate according to the market price, because there are many things that affect the sugar price: the international price, the market price, and sugar being agriculture is also affected by fluctuations. At times it goes down, at times it goes up. But we feel that the 50 will be the minimum. It's not what we are paying even today. It's the minimum you can go. That's why we bring it here, so it can set a record.
Are there studies, Commissioner, that have...
There are studies, and this was guided by the recent study that was conducted by World Bank. And we hope once the industry diversifies to other products, if we start doing the branding, if we start utilizing all the industries start putting converting the bagasse into power, something will be done. And one of the things we are also committing with the council is that the moment the council is put in place, within 1 year, another study is going to be conducted to inform this formula.
Thank you. Now, my brother, the farmers and the millers, with the certified negotiator. Okay? So in negotiation, there is what we call ZOPA. ZOPA means zone of possible agreement. Me, I'm seeing you're not far away from each other. You're not far away from each other. And I want you to have open hearts. Okay? Open hearts help you to really move and make things easy. Sometimes we overburden ourselves. These members have committees that are going to do with the budgets. They need to go back and fight for your budgets. And I also have other meetings lining up for me. So in the next 10 minutes, we should sort this. You are saying 50, they are saying 60. Isn't it? 50, 60. Okay? Me, whom you are not going to give any commission, this is your money. Apart from abusing us on Twitter and disturbing my MPs here, I would propose this. When we are looking at this formula, we need to be considerate that there are factories which have not yet started getting money from byproducts. And we must keep the issue of byproducts attractive so that they go for them. So those factories, the moment you do a price where those running byproducts will be gaining by around 10-15% more, these guys will get out of the market. You have technically killed them. Because to transit, to put up a system for byproducts, for example, power. Power, number one, you will need a power purchase agreement. to negotiate it with government is the wrong process, and you are not sure we shall give it to you. That's number one. Number two, even after getting that, you will need an evacuation line to evacuate that power for you to start selling it. I know, for example, I think Kinyara you should be having a power purchase agreement. Okay? Yeah, but we are not about to evacuate your power.
It will take further 3 more years to start.
So now Kinyara, even if he starts producing power, okay, he will not sell that power to government because we are the ones buying it. For now, we have enough power. No reason to put redundant power on the grid and we start charging you. You get it, Chairman? Consideration I'm coming to. So you need to make sure that you are the ones who rejected zoning. This is indirect zoning. If you give a formula that is going to give advantage to the powerful who already have, you are going to, Madivani will be selling at 10 to 15% discount, okay? Before they go into the market. If you say you need 60%, Madivani right away, compared to the rest, he will be having a huge discount. He already said his power. He already has for gas. Now, where will you leave this? You're telling them no close. So he can even go on the market and discount sugar, and their sugar is not sold because he's already covered it from the other side. So if we are to move very well, I would propose this. I would propose that number one, on the formula, you meet in between. Because you see, in negotiation, it's not only one side that moves. I have pushed these people to move on the council. Now, if you come from 60 to 55, they also go up from 50 to 55. Okay? That would be a win-win because you don't want a win-lose, a lose-win. Then number two, to cushion the other colleagues who are not yet benefiting from byproducts, we give them a grace period of around 2 years. And we put it here that this formula of 55 will start applying after 2 years. If you have not, if you have not invested to gain from byproducts, it will be a problem. For us, this side, we gave you what? We gave you a grace period to go back and invest. To me, because if you do it now, you're going to end up closing down all these small factories which have helped you to gain negotiating power. They'll be going down. Let me first listen to that out to grower. Yes.
Thank you. One of our meetings, we agreed to maintain some of the positions which were set by World Bank. And these ones, they affect us as growers or farmers, but we
Let Chair be standing in for me. Just a minute. Continue. I'll be listening to you.
Yes. Well, we were comfortable. Rendement of 9%, we said we can pilot that until we see. But what the future will provide. But you may realize this rendement is being affected so much by the millers themselves. They are so enticing, they want to do everything when it comes to purchase of sugarcane. They are the ones who are lowering the quality of cane. They have too much greed, they can't even regulate themselves. So you find that even in some areas where you have cane which is not supposed to be harvested before maturity time, some small millers come and grab it. So that is not a problem which can affect our rendement. And when it comes to the issue of the percentage, I think the 55 is okay, but we can't grace it for 2 years. 2 years it will be too much because we already cheated. If you go by the current position, market position, the situation is terrible. In one of the meetings, the millers told us, we are willing to maintain the high price. It is profitable, But no one, we don't know who sets the price. Right now, they are buying sugarcane at less than 50,000 shillings per ton. They always present to you a gross cost of harvesting and millers, and then they round it to 95,000 shillings. And this one is evident in this what they are paying us. A farmer parts with 40,000 per ton. So right now we need to be very critical as we are dealing with this. These are like demigods in the field there. They even come with the police, deploy, and then force any price, and they buy. So Parliament should prevail over this. We maintain the World Bank position of 9 rendement, and then the 55 as advised. But
looking at the final,
yes.
Don't take me, oh, these percentages for this is for this.
Yeah.
We won't come out of here knowing the sum, the total sum. Let us have the total sum.
Yeah, there are two factors. We are looking at the 9%, which we has been practicing and bleached by millers. Then what you have advised to on behalf of farmers, I think it's okay.
But me, I thought the one I'm advising is the gross. It includes byproducts and sugar and everything.
Information.
Just let's first listen to that, okay? What was it covering?
Yeah, which we agreed on 8%, is going back to raising it to 9%.
We didn't agree on that.
So, in
Yeah,
short,
information.
you are saying it is 50, listen, 50 plus
No,
plus 8.
no, the formula has what we call recovery, which is 8%, 8 that we agreed on. Then the sharing minimum is 50%.
So, making it around 58.
No, they are two separate.
Oh, they are two separate.
Yeah,
information.
The other one is recovery, we agreed 8, but he's now saying it should go to 9.
Okay.
And this one is minimum pay is
Which is 50?
50%.
Yeah.
Covers all.
Okay. That makes my work very easy.
Yeah, information.
Now, whom
Mr. Chair, I don't know that we have science in this meeting, because this 8 or 9%, that is recovery, not so. That is recovery. It's determined by science, not by law. I don't know why we are legislating on the recovery. It depends. For instance, a little experience on sugar is that if the conditions, the environment in an area is hotter than areas which are more cool, you will get more sugar. For instance, if you grow sugar in a Chol area, which is hotter than here in south of Uganda, you will get more sugar from 1 ton of cane than when you grow it in a cooler environment of Kabale.
That is the average of that region.
Yes.
But we are saying the minimum, because and that says when you have looked after your cane and when you harvest it mature.
So why
it is for that.
Why
but if you take it immature, you can, like now, from wet bridges, you can even get...
Of course, we shouldn't encourage immature cane.
That's what we are
saying. You shouldn't say, if it is immature, you get less. Why should we legislate for immature cane? We should go for what science tells us. In Uganda, the average, we know it. But, so that's why I don't want to legislate on science. Somebody with a Seychelles, because it is much hotter, they are about 12-13% recovery.
Yeah, even South Africa.
South Africa, yes.
So
why are we legislating on science? But that on the side, that's why now, of course, the Ministry of Industry has scientists. They should guide us on what is the recovery, where, in which area.
Was that World Bank study covering Uganda? Or it was
information. So we should not say, because some people harvest immature cane, so we should not encourage the harvesting of immature cane. Sure.
So what does the World Bank, they study? Dennis. No, just let's, we sort that, then we go back to the price now.
The World Bank had given us an indication of 9%, and I also agree with what my senior colleague is mentioning, but we discussed and agreed to really stop the trading in immature cane, that it is important as an industry to agree and this figure be fixed. And that's why we are looking at 8%. But once this council is put in place, it is going to form committees. And one of the committees will be able to carry out tests and be able to guide on an average percentage.
So now you people, if you have a study, why are you disagreeing with the study? What?
Even some extent going to below 6. The 9 you can get is nucleus estates, also in western Uganda, Chinyara, or you can get it in the north. But if you go to Rugazi, Kakira, where you have rainfall every day, much of your sugar, what you crush is water. The recovery goes down. So putting it high is too bad. It will kill everyone. We are not getting it. Let's take a study, even if you wait, it will take much time. That's even 8. We are putting it at 8 to discourage web bridges. Because those who get pain from web bridges, and there are very many, they are getting a recovery of 6.
Okay.
Even 5.
Honorable Kamba,
I really want to disagree with my senior brother there on saying that it's different in Western Uganda and in Kachira. If there is a study that was conducted by a credible body, it shouldn't be us who are non-scientists to discredit a report authored by World Bank. I assume that they took into consideration all those aspects and came to an average recovery. 2, I would like to know, this will inform my next point. What does the 50% translate into in terms of
no, let us first finish recovery. We have to. We have a price, okay, from sugar price, and then we have recovery. So let us say to recovery, then we go back to the other one.
Right Honorable Deputy Speaker, it is unfortunate that we are now spending so much time on issues, technical issues, where we shouldn't even be spending so much time. I'm disappointed to note that there is a lot of mistrust between the millers and farmers. It has for long existed, and we seem to be propagating it even. There are certain things that we do for the sake of protecting the industry. One of them is ensuring that there is continuity. We need to get involved in this industry, well knowing that we have a target, and that target is to ensure that the sugar industry survives and thrives. I see no reason why we should even talk of 7%, 6%, 8% as recovery in this country, when the entire world knows that the recovery is around 10%. We know it, and yet we are debating on this when we shouldn't be spending so much time. We have talked about it for a long time. It is absurd to hear millers talking of 8%, when in Kinyara, for instance, the remuneration can go as high as 12%. But farmers have said, let us accept 9 for the sake of it, and it has been operating. We have dwelt on that, and we have had results ever since without any issues.
Thank you.
That's point number 1. Number 2, this percentage, I totally agree with the chair that we must have a win-win situation. 50% gives us something that is just enabling farmers to survive, but we cannot make ends meet. If you look at the costing of the sugarcane production, you find that farmers are not breaking even at 50%. So we need something higher. What we agree is what we shall have to go with. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, you people, let's, because you see what, and I really don't want us to have commotion with chair suffering for nothing. I can tell you, if one brings the report of the World Bank and tables it on the floor. World Bank is a neutral party in all this. So it will also be the task of you, the mirrors. It will be the task of you, the mirrors, to ensure that you send away a young Ken, immature Ken, okay? So that you can have a recovery that is as high as possible, and you stop straining your machines for nothing with immature Ken. So if the World Bank really gave a study of 9, okay, and it's clear, let's do a recovery of 9, because it was done by a neutral party. Honorable Bahati, you're the one who used to emphasize to us studies of institutions like World Bank. They were partners. They are neutral. They were not favoring either the farmer or a mirror. They were looking at what is in the field. And then with that, I think that should be very, very easy and sorted. So let's go to the one I had proposed. Mirrors. The one I had proposed, it was this way, that they come from 60 to 55, you come from 55 to 60, but we give it becomes implemented in 2 years, so that we can have a grace period for this, because we want it uniform. We want those ones who are saying no. Then it will be our task, for example, it will be our task now as government to ensure the power of Kinyara is evacuated. Okay? It will be our task to ensure, to work with you, to ensure that the more, if you want to produce power, we give you a license. We do all this. That gentleman.
So it was that they do PPA at the same rates for other millers are getting it.
Sorry?
So government should promise to all the millers that they can take power from all the mills, how much they like in the same same price what other millers are getting.
Yeah, I mean, you know, my brother, we are not throwing a row at you and abandoning you. Okay? We are not throwing a row at you and then abandoning you. I think when you're going into a power purchase agreement, there are many factors they do consider. Maybe I don't know how many megawatts you produce, what you produce, but we have bagasse, I buy sanitizer from Kachira for my factory. All the time. I see all that extra, okay? So if we give you a grace period, now that grace period will be enough for us to be sorting out all these other issues with you of supporting you. Otherwise, we don't want to give you a formula that will cripple you or that will give advantage to one mirror, disadvantaging the other mirror. Chinyara?
We are requesting for the grace period for 3 years. No factory is going to achieve value addition less than 2 years, Mr. Chair. That is one. Secondly, we are referring World Bank formula, World Bank study like that. World Bank study have been implemented and everyone knows across the sector. Kinyara has a CPC, cane production contract with the individual farmer. It was clearly provided the recovery and how it is going up and coming down. However, the World Bank also recommended 40%. We are not there. We moved to 50% for inclusive of all other value additions. Again, we are moving up. The other factories, they are not making, it is a climate and a weather pattern, cane age and maturity, everything contributes the sugar rendement. Yes, we do get slightly higher rendement compared to other industry. As my brothers and sisters who is there in the farmers, they should not expect this also coming to pull up from 8 to 9, and this also already be jacked from 40 to 50. Again 55, again 60, both sides it is going to give us a lot of problems. So that's the reason we discussed, agreed 8% rendement, and the percentage not yet agreed, sir, actually. That's what we stopped.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. I submit.
You see, Manager Kinyara, I told you that here what we are doing here is to smoothen the process on the floor. I also want to come out of here with something which can be defendable. these colleagues of mine, I know what they go through, okay? Like I told you, it will be difficult on recovery if someone tables the report of the World Bank, especially with 1%. Of course, when you go to monetary terms, it's huge, but you know, it's a little bit, it's a little bit close, okay?
But currently, there is no factory in Soga region getting more than 80%.
No, hey, please, no one access.
On the question of course, of the recovery, I think you are coming to a conclusion.
As chairman speaks, let me talk to the chairman of Miras.
On the 50%,
Chairman
Senator
Miras.
Kangwa had asked a question. At the moment, what does it mean at the current pricing? Because the talk of percentage, here we share in cash. How much is the 100,000 at the moment? What would the 50% be? Then we get a starting point. Because we have percentages. It could be. So my issue is, at the moment, for instance, me who is selling to Rugazi, what does 50% mean in terms of money? Mfuna sente meka per ton. If somebody is selling to Kinyara, what does 50% today mean? Because we farmers don't sell in percentages. We sell in prices. Then that one would give us a formula. Then they say, if my input is this, to produce 1 ton or produce in an acre, if I get, I look after my cane very well and get 35 tons or 40 tons from an acre, at this price, I will get this, and my inputs will be this, will be the profitability. But we are here on percentage. Me, I'm lost. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Kabeho, you listen.
Yes, I listened. You farmers wait a bit, because now you have your colleagues who are not happy so much. So, and I usually won't come out of the room when both groups are happy. Otherwise, we can go, we make a row, you go, you celebrate. These people close down the factory if they don't work. No. The biggest factories in the world have closed down in a minute. Okay? In a minute. So I want us to come here when we are all happy. Isn't it important? Yes. It's important. I don't want one side to go out feeling they've won and the other side has lost. So there is a proposal which came from that gentleman. But Honorable Idi first, Chairman.
While we were having a certain discussion, Mr. Moses Vyarohanga raised an important issue that need to be answered. Because what does 50% mean for a ton now? Because this can help us from our side and the side of farmers. Because we are talking in percentages, can we be helped for them to...
Can the commissioner...
The millers, I think, can explain. Can you explain that?
No, commissioner.
Or commissioner, can you?
Yes.
Dennis.
Commissioner, Chair, the 50% takes care of the benefits that will accrue when one sells the byproducts. But I wanted to request one of my millers to give an elaborate explanation and comes to at least a price that is being offered now.
Okay, who are you asking?
I'm requesting Mr. Mobiru.
Chair and the members, as per the current selling price, of removing excess duty and VAT, 50% sharing at 9% rendement, it comes to 129,676 shilling. If it is an 8%, 115,267 shilling. 14,000 variation is there for 1% rendement variation as per current selling price of Kinyara. Yes, stop, sir.
Is that the 50% Oh, the 50%,
Yes,
they
Chair.
say they didn't get the chairman very well. Mr. Kabeo, you can explain.
Our current prices of 182,000 per bag, if we put at 50% and rendement at 9, a bag minimum will cost 129 per ton. And at 8% it will be 115. So that's the difference.
At 9% will be how much?
129.
And then 129, and then at 8?
115.
115. Okay. But then we are also asking about the 50%. Moses asked about the 50%.
It's calculated, sir.
Okay.
This is what I wanted it in monetary to look at. It was a bigger picture. Uganda is not producing sugar for only Uganda. If you are producing sugar for only Uganda, we can say at any price. But if we are producing sugar for also export, we should bear that in mind. Because today, the international price of a ton of sugar landed at Mombasa is about $500 per ton. So the question I wanted to go to, Mr. Chair, is if you turn at 80%, how many tons of cane, of raw cane, do you need to make 1 ton of sugar, of brown sugar? It's about 111. I mean, about 11,000. Let's calculate it. At 8%, it's 11,000. How many?
It's 8%, it's a 12.5 tons of sugar cane makes 1 ton sugar, sir.
How many tons?
12.5 metric ton of sugar cane makes at 8% rendement 1 ton of sugar.
And how much is that in monetary terms, in Ugandan shilling? Mr. Chair, I want us to look at international price as well.
It comes to 1,440,000 shillings, sir.
1,440,000
shillings.
440.
Yes, sir.
Turn that into dollars.
It comes to $385.
$385.
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. Chair, what I was driving at is that if our production cost,
this is only raw material cost.
The cost of cane, which makes 1 ton of brown sugar, is at $385, and the international price of a finished raw sugar from Brazil reaches Mombasa at $500 per ton. The difference here is $115? $115. That would mean that the production and so forth. So, as we try to set these prices, we should, unless you are saying Uganda just produce for your own market, which is about 300,000 tons consumption, not so. But we are producing about 700,000 tons, and we're expanding. So if you are going to overprice your sugar cane, where will you put the sugar when you produce it?
I have also the current prices of sugar cane for East Africa, where we export. Rwanda is 28 US dollars.
Wait, Yeshi hasn't given you permission, Mr. Kabeo, unless you're taking over the powers of the chair. So, I want to ask Mr. Chairman to be mindful. Yes, as a farmer, I want as much money from a ton of cane. As a miller, they also want to get profit. But if Uganda's consumption of sugar is 300,000 tons of sugar, and we are producing about 7,000 tons, meaning the excess sugar must be exported, then our pricing must put into account the international market. Yes, here we are under ESC, we are exporting in the region. Fine. But why should we subject our members in the ESC to buy expensive sugar where they could have bought cheaper sugar from outside? So we must be competitive in the international market. That's the point I want to raise, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Yes,
I want to, in the first place, to appreciate the direction we are taking, that we are using figures and science now to discuss matters. One, I wanted to confirm whether the price, Mr. Moses Yaruhanga, is factual, because I've just Googled now, the price at Mombasa of sugar is different from what he's quoting as we speak.
How much is it?
Because the kilo is going for 3,458 shillings a kilo at Mombasa.
No, you're saying at Mombasa?
Yes, at Mombasa.
That's Kenya shillings, Uganda shillings?
Kenya shillings is 119.68. I use 28.9.
You see, they don't sell in kilos when you're importing from Mombasa.
Mr. Chairman,
it's in tons.
Chair.
How much is the
imported
ton?
sugar?
Chair, let me be protected, Chair.
Yeah.
When we convert this into tons,
Yeah.
it means if a consumer is buying it at this, then you can discount very little. But compared to the figure he's giving, there is a very big variation. But allow me to continue presenting, Chair. You did ask the millers to guide you on how we arrive at the money they talked about. And I would like to request, Chair, you allow me the 120, the 112, the 115 they are talking about. Chair, for your consumption.
That is on recovery.
No, arriving at a price they talked about, 115,000 shillings.
Yeah, but that was for recovery.
Of 8.
Was it covered on recovery? Isn't
recovery of 8.
No, we sorted that issue. You see, you people, that's why your meetings take even years, and you don't sorted that issue. We are going with 9%.
Okay, thank you.
As Parliament.
Now, Chair, regarding it is related to the percentage. It is related.
Which percentage?
Of sugar. Sugar.
The 50.
Yes.
Yeah, the 50,
Yeah, Chair, it has been raised here that 50% is considerate of the other products they get from sugarcane, and that they're using World Bank. That World Bank had recommended 40, and that they chose to add 10% to move us to 50 because they were catering for the other byproducts. But Chair, the recommendation of 40%, for example, was by government to guide us. To support the rehabilitation of sugar factories in Uganda. All sugar factories, after this government was taking over power, there was destruction of all sugar mills. So there was supposed to be a support coming from the farmers to support rehabilitation of these factories. That's when they put us at 40%. And we accepted that so that we can get back to business. But also too, Chairman, if you look at the current figures, when they are talking about percentages, the farmer is more disadvantaged at 50 for reasons that we first knock off VAT. When you're knocking off VAT, we also knock off excise duty, which the millers assume are paying, but it affects the income of the farmer. So we have to first reduce that money off if you're determining cane price. And Chair, they have given me a very high figure today of 182. But sugar price has been low. We always consider what we call average sugar price of the entire year. By now, the sugar price looks lucrative. When it collapses, that's when you hear farmers are earning 40,000 shillings per ton. So we would want to have a bare minimum that we think, if you factored it into the cost of production of a farmer, is able to remain in business to support the miller to continue running. So our proposal, which was 60, and with your guidance, you had suggested 55. When we did some calculation, we were almost at the break-even point. And we were ready to go with the 55.
Okay.
We would accept that.
Okay. Thank you. I think we're doing extremely well. But so I gave a proposal of saying the farmers come from 60 to 55.
Yes.
The millers come from 50 to 55. You meet in between.
Yes.
And I would just need to hear from the chairman of the farmers. But then there is a proposal which also I gave which was also acceptable to the farmer, of a grace period of 2 years for this to apply, so that those factories which have not invested to produce byproducts are able to invest. And this will be able to support even the smaller factories that are very, very vulnerable. So, but the gentleman, you said you're from which factory? Yeah, Marty, to guide us, because we need guidance of government. You see, how, for example, how long does it take to, one, process power purchase agreements for electricity, then evacuation and all that? Would 2 years work, or it's a short time? Two, of course, there is the investment side. The moment the road is signed, the investment side, raising finance, planning. If you to expand, you expand. How long?
Chair was having a statement where he said that the government should also treat the small mirrors the way it treats the bigger mirrors, so that it allows them, because that is what the co-chair said, meaning that they want assurance from government, as the minister takes it on, that in the situation of evacuation and the production, they will have the same treatment, because he wanted to mean that there is some more favor somewhere for bigger mirrors.
Okay.
The treatment of the generation of power, is that what we are meaning?
Yeah. Especially power.
Power.
That's what you said.
There should be fairness.
Yeah.
And I will take it up with the Minister of Energy to ensure that that can be discussed. And I don't have the details why they would segregate, give more price to a person who produces more and less to a person who produces less. So I want to study that, Chair, and then I can have a meeting with them, with the Minister of Energy, so that we harmonize it.
Yeah, but that one we can assure you, because I don't think there is any sugar industry that has said we want to start producing power, and government has said we can't buy your power. Yeah, I would want to.
Yeah, we already applied for PPA. I think we are fighting for PPA from last. Okay, we have not got yet.
Okay.
No, I think you wanted us to assure, the speaker says, we really assure you if you produce power, because we don't have enough power, though we appear to be having excess power, but actually we need more power as a country. So I don't think there's a problem with that. I'll take that matter. I was not informed about that issue, but now that I've been informed, I can take it up. Chair, we are trying to build a consensus, because we need this council to start operating so that the sugar industry can get organized, and the both parties, the farmers and the millers, to come on the same page in a consensus manner. And it has been a give and take. And the millers' suggestion of a minimum of, rather a grace period of 3 years, I don't think it has a problem, in my opinion, because they need to do some investment. They need to then the council will be put in place, will be starting to work, and if we find that actually we have made a lot of progress, even the 3 years we can change it. So we can give it for now, but if we find that we have met all the standards, there's no need of us going up to 3 years if everything has been done. But for now, we can give it to them.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Right Honorable, I didn't get you to apply. Should take 3 years. That's what you are suggesting.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
They are saying that, look, the 50. We are more or less close on the 55.
I understand.
But when it starts applying, it's where we are having an issue.
No.
I had proposed 2 years as a mediator, and listen to me, okay? But the person who will have a burden of realizing this, okay, is saying, to be honest, I think 3 years I can struggle, I put it. And he has given you an example that has been looking for a power purchase agreement for the last 2 years. And yet, immediately after the period we've agreed, the formula, okay, of 55 would start applying. we can agree the one of recovery, okay? The one of recovery can start right away. My brother, let me tell you, you're not in this for short term. We are not making a row today or tomorrow. We are making a long-term kind of row. Now, if I made a row, I give someone 2 years to have invested in this, because you're not giving him capital, he will go and mobilize his capital. He's the one who is going to mobilize all this, okay? But I'm putting an obligation on him that you must do it in this period. If you don't, the formula will affect you negatively. So go work hard. So let's try to be flexible. Let's try to be. You, boss, Sebo, we are the ones who make the rule. It's not you. For you to, because I'm saying you're the one who is trying to be stubborn here. No, listen to me. We are the ones going to make the rule. Here we are consulting you. So we are going back in our chambers. Whatever we agreed upon here, we might refuse it in the chambers. So if I don't want, number two, you should know, this law will be signed by the president. If the man goes to the president and says, you have put an obligation on me of investing $20 million in 2 years. Help us, give us that money in UDB, and government doesn't have it. What will you do? He will go down. So let's try to be flexible on each other, especially where we are putting an obligation on the other. We have managed to achieve the one of recovery. We have achieved. Okay? And I can tell you that one on the floor, it will pass. I have my colleagues here. We have managed to sort for you the issue of the council. Okay? Whereby you're going to get one more compared to the mirrors. Because I want your colleagues to understand what we have achieved. One more compared to the mirrors. Okay? We have said now we don't want a win-lose. We want to come out of this room when we have a win-win. So on the price, from 60 to 55, from 55, from 50 to 55. And then someone says, yes, but you're putting an obligation on me to invest. So instead of 2 years, let us do 3 years grace period. You give me 3 years, I should have invested. If I don't invest, that price, that cost will be put on me. I'll pick from my proceeds to pay the mirror, whether I've invested or not. Honorable Batua? Oh, no. I had allowed some.
Was Grota Mukono Lugazi's call. One, I want to thank you for the progress made so far. The 9% recovery, it's okay to start with that. We appreciate that. The 55% has been humble cry for the meetings I've been sharing with the mailers, and I've been going back consulting over. But we thank you so much that we have deliberated on this. EPRC recently concluded a research and also recommended that they should consider they proposed 3 products to be considered for a start. That was sugar, molasses, and bagasse for a start. And Chair, I want to assure you that Uganda is not an isolated island. In Tanzania, our neighbors here are using this formula, and the growers are getting 60% of the sugar and molasses, just our friends here in Tanzania. And the excess of the quality of sugar in your sugar cane, you still get a bonus out of that. So, moving forward, may the millers help us sustain this. We are looking for co-survival as growers and millers. Last year, growers went to the strike, you're very much aware. The main factor was the cost of production of a grower. And as Mr. Hanga has been mentioning that we need to be considerate on the international standards and so on. We need to be considerate on the cost of production, the international standards. How do we both of us survive? We had a meeting with our millers call last year, and they all agree that, sincerely speaking, the minimum price should be, if it comes around 170, the growers can survive.
Currently, as they have given the formula with the current price, no grower is break-even. As growers, as we speak today, no grower is break-even. Someone asked us in URA, how are you surviving? We are surviving on hope. We expect things to get better. Now that the government is taking concern, saying that we consider A, B, C, D. So we pray that the millers are doing this business. We are willing, as Lugaza saying, the most vulnerable area. So I want to inform you that the recovery of 9% is even achievable within the place they are saying that is most vulnerable in terms of recovery. Honorable Minister Babro had promised that immediately after, EPRC is going to undertake an independent research on the recovery of sugarcane in the various areas. So we pray on this, we pray that this takes effect. The 2 years, they are talking about the 3 years. We feel, as growers, we have even promised that the byproducts we are saying they have no mark, the growers are willing to take them. So those who have no value addition, value chains for the other products, the molasses, the bagasse, the press mud, chair, we want to assure you that the growers have better value. Some of them are cattle, they are keeping cattle. Molasses is very good for cattle keeping. The bagasse, it will even save on the forests.
But sir, you're taking us far.
Yes,
You're
sir.
the ones doing yourselves.
Yes, sir.
Next week we'll give you a row, okay? You start earning. Otherwise, the more we delay, the more we don't conclude, the more you will remain crying the way you are crying.
So we do appreciate for the two variables.
Yes.
We are good to go to start with those ones, sir.
Ye-
The
yes.
9%, 55% across, so it's okay with us, sir.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I had allowed Honorable Batua.
Maybe you allow me introduce myself. I'm Dr. Batua Timothy Lusala, Member of Parliament, Jinja West constituency. And in Parliament, I'm also the Shadow Minister of Health. Right Honorable Speaker, I want to thank you for the great effort you've done in enabling us get to consensus. Because sugarcane, the way I understand it, is more of a political crop than an economical one. However, I seek clarification. You've handled R, you've handled D, which is the percentage in the formula. But there is one variable, which I think is even the most important, that collapsed this formula as it appears in the law. That is variable C. It talks of the weight in tons of sugarcane. When we talked of weight, I think that's where the formula collapsed to give us the right price. Has this been changed? And it has been changed to what? So that I come up with the second question.
Is this covered under recovery?
Changed. We have moved to use PS, which talks about the average price of raw sugar per ton.
Thank you. It should be price, and rightly said, it is the average price of raw sugar per ton. Now, price varies because we want to make a good law. Which price? Factory price, wholesale price, retail price. We should be very clear. Number one. Number two, price is determined by forces of demand and supply. You get it? How shall we arrive at a uniform price? Should we give the powers to the council to state the price? Because this is the most important step in the formula. The moment it's right, the other things are subjective. The 9% is subjective to this. Okay, you just subject it to this. You just multiply the 9% to the price you've determined.
Okay.
So how do we add, what price? First, the question is, what price are we talking about? Is it the factory price, the wholesale price, the retail price? Number two, who determines that price?
Okay. Kinyara?
Through chair, I want to answer honorable member. The C, the weight in bracket tons of sugar cane, which is erroneously came in the act. That is the reason we are looking for an amendment. That is the PC average, weighted average PS, weighted average sugar price for a period. That is the reason, sir, we have to follow if the farmers are getting. We cannot change the sugar price price per day or per month or per week. So weighted average price for that particular period. There is a month or financial year. I hope I answered, sir.
Yeah, because Honorable Batua, number one, you are. Please, first switch off. Okay? We started this meeting at 9. Okay? Now, this meeting, what we have been doing is what the farmers and the mirrors sat and agreed upon. Then for us, we've been handling areas of contention. That's not one area they brought to me.
Right, Honorable Speaker, this is the area that collapsed this formula, and the formula could not work.
Just listen to me, because even on the farm, the one who is going to allow you to speak, so you better behave. Okay? Please, there are details in terms of registration you can't go to. There are details which the council, because what we are doing, I have seen, as politicians, especially if we come in and we try to show we are fighting for this, we are sowing tension between farmers and mirrors, who already have suspicion among themselves. And what government is doing is simple. Government is saying, go self-regulate. Go self-regulate. You farmers, you mirrors, go self-regulate. To the extent that it has said, look, let us even give affirmative action to the farmers on the board, on the council, so that you self-regulate. So now, in self-regulation, when you're drafting a law that covers self-regulation, you must leave in room for the body that is going to self-regulate to discuss most of these things. Okay? What the mirrors, what the farmers raised was the formula, and the formula on majorly 2 aspects. Number one, recovery. Okay? Whereby in some factories, recovery is at 6%. In others, recovery is at 10. In others, 7. So we've said on recovery, there is a study of World Bank, okay, which did an average recovery percentage. Meaning, from a ton of sugar, you must of sugarcane, you must recover a minimum of this much. If you as a mirror, you go and you say you're recovering 7%, one immature sugarcane, immature cane will give you a raw recovery. Now the task will be on the mirror, because he has a task of recovering a higher percentage of 9, he will only accept mature cane. That's number one. If you bring cane, which he looks at and he thinks it's young, he will say, no, I don't even want it here, because I can't recover the minimum which I'm supposed to pay you. You get it? Number 2, the factors which came in, but the average of 9 has been agreed. Now, I don't want what we have agreed with the mirrors. We again open a Pandora's box here as members of parliament to disturb. No. The issue we are on, Honorable Batua, please don't take me back. And I tell you, don't take me back. We are on the issue of 55%, okay, which we have proposed, and the grace period. Those are the issues I want us to discuss. Beyond that, the other questions you will ask your mirrors or your outgrowers. How did you agree on this? They will educate you outside this meeting so that I go and do other things.
Yeah. Right, Honorable Speaker.
You see, I have, no, wait a bit, wait. Please.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. They have sister companies. They are selling to molasses and bagasse. So as a farmer, I don't support the idea that we should give them grace period, because those who are not making power, they have sister companies. They are selling to. Their sister companies, they are selling to these other byproducts.
My brother, don't be that mean. Be flexible.
No, this is the truth. This is the truth. Because if we are considering that they're not doing anything with those other byproducts, it is very true.
But how much are they selling?
Like, for example, I went to Kamuli recently, transporting just bagasse from Kamuli to town Jinja. They gave me 500,000 just to transport, and taking only 16 tons Just the transport, 500 I was given. So let us not be lenient to them. As far as price is concerned, the grace period should not be given to them because they are earning from them. And if they are not earning from them, let them give us those other things. Secondly, Right Honorable, I forgot when you mentioned that we concluded with the council. We wanted also to request Mr. Dennis that when under functions of the council, we include, Right Honorable, that the council shall have powers to form a committee, including price committee. Let us be clear on that, so that the council has the powers to form those committees, because it is not well explained there. So can we also fix that, so that?
Honorable Kamba.
You see, Chair, the ideas are brilliant, but it makes the work of the users of these laws, the lawyers and the judges, I mean, it looks so shabby to put every detail in an act of parliament. There are issues that are put in regulations, in subsidiary legislation. So, you see, well, that's the procedure.
Yes, and these regulations.
Something, I think the farmers should.
You can introduce yourself.
Wilberforce Mubiru, I work with the school. The farmers should be somehow appreciative of where we have reached, because Emila is going to fund 85% of the budget. But when he requests for a grace period to organize the business, then you don't want to give grace period. The percentage has gone up, recovery has gone up. But when you say, let us reorganize the business, you say, no, you shouldn't even reorganize, you know. We should have a win-win kind of position, but that's my.
Thank you. We have in an elder.
There is a lot of.
Especially on the issue of grace period.
Yeah, the grace period. You know, farmers have been taken for a ride for a long, long time. And it is high time that their plight was also considered. Because a grace period of 3 years is too long, honestly. I know there are some small industries that are coming up that need to be promoted. But there are those that have existed for the last decades, so many of them, and they're already breaking even. They have surpluses. Why do they need the grace period? It doesn't make much sense as such. Okay, if they want to reorganize themselves, that is okay, but it shouldn't be 3 years, honestly.
I propose 2 years.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, the farmers would have thought of something like 1 year. 1 year would be fair enough.
Yeah, because you see what I'm avoiding, and I want to have the attention of that gentleman. Avoiding a situation of you remaining with this current law for the next 1 or 2 years, which we are even talking about. Because this is like Honorable, I think it was Honorable, was it? Batua who said it's more of a political bill than...
It's a political crop.
You've made it a political crop. You've made it hard for our people, for members, to come and sort this matter for once and for all. But I see we have made very good progress. Very, very good progress. But in the progress we are making, I want us to make a law which I'm sure, number one, will get a signature of the president. Because I can give you whatever you want, but that law doesn't get a signature. It comes back to Parliament. I can assure you, you will spend another year or even beyond. So even the grace period, which I see that gentleman saying we can't get, we don't want, if I don't give you a role, you're going to remain in a much dire situation you're in now. The only rescue we can have is to have this role sorted now and finished. Okay? Then, if you have issues which will be coming, I mean, we are here. And these MPs of yours, let me first tell you, these MPs of yours have fought for you. You need to even clap for them. I don't know whether you are appreciating. These MPs have taken breaths for you. They've lobbied for you. They've pushed for you. It's a law which I would want us next week to sort out. And I'm saying really, now the only contentious point we are having is mainly on the grace period. So with that, and we are pushing it on to these people, we are not even sure that the mirrors are accepting it also, because we are now going by one side. So now I want to hear from the chairman of the mirror. Moses, you wanted to give more guidance?
No, yeah, from the sugarcane industry, when you plant sugarcane, you harvest after 18 months, 1.5 years. Surely, why would it be difficult for you to plant a cane farmer who waits for 1.5 years to harvest, not to give the investor more time to organize and invest? Now, the gentleman there answered himself. Yes, there are those factories which have been in Uganda for a long period of time. Recently, the score has celebrated 100 years. But there are new ones which came in a few years ago. So, yes, unless you are targeting the big three, but what about the others? So we must make a law which cuts across. Whether you came yesterday or you have been 100 years, the law must be fair to everybody. So the request for a grace period is good. We need to give them also time. Those who need to invest in the extras. It requires money. You need to get loans, you need to get everything. It's not so as easy that you just, tomorrow you go and start producing by gas, I mean electricity, or tomorrow you start doing distillery and so forth and so forth. It requires time. Even those ones who are doing it, it has taken them a lot of time to start doing electricity. Thank you.
The gentleman there.
Thank you. True picture to you how we are suffering. You wouldn't share.
And that's why I'm here. That's why
Yes.
I come to mediate.
So let us agree through the pain millers have caused on us.
Okay.
We can give a grace period using the ZOPA approach you mentioned, but 3 years would be too much. Let's have function organs, and we come to at least 2 or 1.5 years.
2 years.
Yes.
2 years. 2 years would be. Honorable Jire.
I think the farmers that we so dearly fight for and fight with for their cause. 2, the investment. The investor is going to buy this equipment, is going to transport it from wherever it's coming. 2 years or 3 years. Third one, we also, because again, we have not yet gotten the capacity ourselves to do this.
Yeah, that's a win-win situation. That's what I really would like to implore you.
Thank you. Honorable Batua.
Yeah, I associate with what has been deliberated on the grace period. However, I kindly request that since we are all seated here, we who have abundant knowledge on sugarcane and what we are going to legislate, I've tried to use my mathematics to model and see.
With due respect, Mr. Chair, I still need time, and I request that I can't access some of my members. I'm elected chairman, and I need to talk to them. So I request that we have another date.
I want to reassure you on that on power, government will help you. to get power purchase agreements because we need more power and we shall intervene. But the regulator, so I've arranged for him a meeting, and after here he's going to ERA so that they sort their issue because there is a problem. Now, from what Mr. Kabewa has said, the co-chair, don't mind about it, okay? I know he needs to consult some of the players, especially the small ones, which are not here. But I'm proposing that a few of us, since we've sorted out the major issues, the readers, okay? Just the readers, we can meet tomorrow. But if they agree to what we have proposed, we don't even need a meeting. They can communicate it to the minister. Now the minister will communicate to me and we proceed with the law. Okay? Which is 55% on price and 2 years grace period. Okay? So kindly I need, the 9 we agreed. The 9 I told them even if they don't agree on the floor, we shall pass 9. Yes. Because it is informed by a career study from the World Bank. Which one? Yes, but you tell your colleagues that I have confirmed 9. As a chair, I've used my authority. Okay? The meeting must end. No, honorable colleagues, we've agreed on all the issues. So I don't want, no, I will allow you to give a vote of thanks, but I've been here since 9, honorable colleagues. If you could know the lineup I have in office. Okay? No, please. Honorable Bahati, can you recap for us what we've agreed upon?
Chair, thank you. In the interest of, on the issue of council board, we have agreed that we take the council forward. So it will be establishment of the council. Honorable Kamba and the Honorable Agre, the council, the issue of the board versus the council, we are legislating to have a council in place. The composition of the council will be 3 farmers, as it is in the current law, which is 4 farmers and 3 millers. On the funding of the council, we have agreed 85% will be contribution from the millers, 15% will be the farmers. On the formula, on the 2 issues in the formula, the recovery, we have agreed on 9%. And then the minimum pay, 55%. And the grace period of 2 years. And the millers have requested for consultation, and the speaker has agreed that we'll meet tomorrow if there's any contentious issue on the grace period. If there isn't, then they will communicate to me, I will communicate to the speaker. This is the meeting that... And we have also agreed that as we conclude this, next week we should have the law on the floor and we conclude it so that it can start applying. Okay? And we get our farmers and millers out of the current state. Okay? Honorable Brandon, give a vote of thanks.
Right.